So I was scrolling through Facebook the other day and I came across this video of Ray Wilkins going on about how Manchester United have spent silly money on a player who's done absolutely nothing in his career. This player was Victor Lindelof, the Swedish centre-back who just signed for Manchester United for around, £30 million? And he was comparing him to the likes of Michael Keane and saying, why should Lindelof have signed? He's done nothing. He's not English, basically. Ray Wilkins was complaining because they chose this Swedish international who's apparently won nothing. Yeah, he's probably won more in his playing career at the age of 21 than Ray Wilkins did in his entire playing career by the time he retired, over Michael Keane. God knows what Ray Wilkins' problem is with it, but it got me thinking. There is some stupid commentators in the world of football, some stupid pundits, and I'm decided why not make a video on the 5 worst pundits in football, because there's some pundits you just want to find, you want to punch in the face, and they just talk one utter lot of shite. I know I talk shite sometimes, but these pundits really do take the biscuit. So I've decided to make this list a bit different for a change. It might be a bit short, but this, in my opinion, are the top 5 worst pundits in football. At number 5, and I know what you're thinking if you're a Rangers fan, this is completely biased, but as a Celtic fan, it's understandable. So at number 5, I've decided to put the one, the only, the arsehole, Neil McCann. Right, we might not be seeing much of him over the next year, considering he's just been appointed as the new Dundee manager, but Jesus Christ almighty, he's an arsehole. Just a complete and utter arsehole, and I think every Celtic fan would agree that you can't stand him. Just can't stand anything about him. He talks one lot of shite, he's just a prick, and I hate him. And so does every Celtic fan. That's bias, and that's why he's gone in at number 5. If I was just a bit more biased, I'd honestly put him at number 1. I hate him, and it's understandable. I've not got much to say about him. To be honest, from a non-Celtic point of view, you might actually enjoy his punditry. But when you're a Celtic fan, that's hard. It's really hard. I don't want to say best of luck at Dundee, I hope you're sacked by Christmas. I'm joking. No man should be out of a job. Paul Merson, former Arsenal icon and current Soccer Saturday presenter. He's on there every week with Jeff Stelling and everyone else, but undoubtedly talks the biggest amount of shite on that show. He just does not know what he's talking about half the time. The most recent thing that comes to my mind was complaining when Marco Silva was given the Hull job. His exact quote was, why not give it to someone English? Give someone English a chance. Where's Thierry Henry? Thierry Henry, famously British, isn't he? He just talks some amount of buzz and he doesn't know what he's on about half the time, and it drives me crazy. He's a big fat bastard who sits in a chair and oh wait, that's me. But he does nothing. He does nothing for me. He just talks some amount of shite. I mean, when Everton knock it long, they don't knock it long. That was a genuine quote from him. That was a genuine quote from Paul Merson. Sometimes he's funny, I'll give him that, but all round, nah, I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't think he's a good pundit at all. At number 3, it's Steve McManaman. A very impressive player. He racked over 200 appearances for Liverpool and then about 90 appearances for Real Madrid. He was a great player. But in the punditry game, not as great. Not liked by many a fan. He does have his fair share of controversial and stupid comments. One coming to my mind about Celtic after we drew 3-3 with Inter Milan a couple of years back. He was criticising the team for taking a lap of honour around the park after an impressive 90th minute equaliser and a decently strong performance from Celtic, but he criticised the team for taking a lap of honour, saying they shouldn't have done it, they should have been disappointed with the result. Overall, I just don't think he's that intelligent of a guy. He does talk his fair share of shite like the rest of these ones, and I'm not the biggest fan of him. I think he thinks he knows it all. He really doesn't. But you know what? He's not as bad as some of them. I mean, the next two, they are the ones. They are the ones. Michael Owen. Do I really need to explain myself on this choice? Do I really need to explain why Michael Owen is in the top 5 worst pundits in football at the minute? No, I don't. But just to back up my point a little, let's go through a variety of some of the quotes he's actually said on live television. Some of the things he is hut out with while commentating or being a pundit for football. Do they deserve the win? No, Liverpool do, which is why a draw is a fair result. When they don't score, they hardly ever win. If there's a bit of rain about, it makes the surface wet. What a shot, that's completely unstoppable, but the keeper's got to do better for me. That's a fantastic penalty, but he'll be gutted it went wide. That would have been a goal had it gone the inside of the post. Those are actual things he is hut out with. Granted, not all of them as a pundit, some of them as a commentator, but he's actually hut out with those things on live television, and you can't ignore that, and that's why he goes to number 2 in the list. Also, he can't pronounce the name Aubameyang. I mean, for consistently throughout a game, he called Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang a bagger man. A bagger man. At number 1 then, it leaves the one, the only, Robbie Savage. Complete and utter arsehole. Cannot stand the guy, I'm sorry. He might be a nice enough guy, but he should not be permitted to pundit a game of football. He is just terrible. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He thinks too much of himself. He goes on like he was a world-class player back in the days when he really wasn't that great, was he? He wasn't anything special. He consistently undermines Scottish football to an extent where he thinks Celtic and Rangers aren't big clubs, when the fact is, he wasn't good enough to play for either Celtic or Rangers. He got knocked back from the both of them. So, you know, he really just is one bullshitting bastard. Let's just leave it at that. He got asked to name the Aberdeen back four when he was slagging Aberdeen off, and he couldn't even name one of them. And it just shows how much he truly knows about it. And that's just not Scottish football. He bullshits, he talks shite about every aspect of football, Scottish, English, German, whatever. I just don't think he should be allowed to pundit anymore for BT. That's just my opinion. I might be being harsh, but he talks shite. Just before I close off the video, I do want to make the point that I talk as much shite as these pundits do. So I do realise that. Don't worry. I'm not slagging these people when I'm probably just as bad. So if any of you are watching News 5, it really means nothing. Just ignore me. Right, anyway lads, as soon as the views are going down, I decided I would try and do this for a little change. I'd try and take focus away from Celtic for a change and go to football in general, and that's what I want to kind of do over the next year, so I decided to do this. You might have thought the video was absolute shite, which it probably was, or you might have enjoyed it. Either way, let me know in the comments. If you abuse me, I'll have a bit of a laugh with you and fire back. But if you enjoyed, make sure to hit like and subscribe lads. From me, Down118. See you all next time.